Yay, Sunday. Let's go.
Oh, triple-faced soul, please sear his tongue and palms with
Hi.
hot iron, so that he will not be able to fabricate lies and false vows.
Is he using it on himself?
I ask
Aw,
you,
Robin.
what was your original dream?
Oh.
Everyone hear our
look.
song.
Oh,
And to
there they
sing
going.
together with the masses. I wished only for the pure land in my
Look
imagination.
at that.
A place
Aw.
where people laugh and also slumber. But with even such a small wish, I still broke my promise. Shadows loom over it, and reality is in utter chaos. I'm unable to protect even those closest to me. The paradise was never meant to look like this. Has your dream changed?
No,
I don't know.
I doubt it.
But I see that people in the land of the dreams still live in another kind of prison. Self-judging, self-doubting, self-denying, and then robbed, oppressed,
No.
exploited. Unknowingly, happiness has long left them. If I could create a future for them, if I could be the light that shines upon the world. I ask you, has your dream come true?
No.
Without a doubt.
Has
As
it?
you see, in this paradise I have built, the virtuous are comforted, the weak are protected, the sinful are judged. Our dream has come true.
Yeah, but that's not
Do
the
you
reality
know
we all
why
live in.
everything is now so silent? Because people are asleep, no longer laughing. No, it is because they no longer wish to slumber here. In this sweet dream,
Ah, hi,
only
Anna.
I remain. When the last actor leaves the stage, the show must come to an end. And now, the final question. Why does life
Beautiful.
slumber?
Of course, we come back to this again.
Because someday, I too will wake up from my dream.
There it is. Robin. Aww.
And once again welcome the arrival of tomorrow.
Aww. This has so much cute imagery in it. I love the way they handled this with art direction. But yeah, you can see briefly here Robin gradually age up as she moves away. So her growing up to actually rush to make her dream come true. There's obviously the
Sing
harmony.
together with the masses.
You can see the progression of time constantly in the background. You can see Robin here again. We've seen essentially this image before of her supporting young kids. So his idea of a dream is somewhere where it's like this is where their dream seems to be in sync. And then you can see the dissonance between it. Before there was also musical notation taking place around her and the children, showing they were in harmony. Now there isn't. The mannequins we saw within the story. So him re-exploring his old viewpoints and his original aims to turn everything into Enna's dream. This is basically him reflecting on it, which is fair enough. You would reflect on this. Love the artwork here. It's so nice. the falling melody, so the lack of harmony. And it shows the collapse of the harmony and instead the transition. So you can see his actual original dream here. And the fact it's almost transparent because it doesn't really exist anymore. And instead, the ominous view of him as Septimus watching the masses as they seem to be, loss of identity. Their eyes aren't shown to us, which is the idea of looking into the eyes is a reflection of someone's soul. So if you see someone's eyes, you should be able to see who they are, yet here we can't. And they all look the same. It could be very purposeful rather than being a saving of money or, choice for saving of animation. It could actually have purpose that all of these characters are basically reflecting the same 3 of 4. Like, it's 4 characters repeated over and over in the same rough sequence of position. They've just been inverted in position depending on the side they're on.
Sinful or judged.
And I like the transition from the Raven, which we know that the head of the Oak family became within the dream, to a different kind of bird. I'm pretty sure it was a kind of dove when it broke free from the area here.
Actor leaves the stage.
Transitions
The show
into
must
seemingly a
come to an
dove.
end.
And the area we were in reflected, obviously, where him and Robin ended up as he was falling. Robin ended up falling down to meet him, but this time he's alone when it happens, even though that's not what happened in reality. Here, realistically, Robin would have fallen down too, because they literally encountered each other where the sun
And once
met them
again,
in the
welcome
sky.
the arrival of tomorrow.
I'll be interested to see how the reflection on his past mistakes potentially impacts him in story. If it's going to be a internal thing, or if it's going to be something that we physically have to engage with in the story. I'm still really hoping that we're going to see Robin. I'd like it if it was Robin who was involved with breaking him out of this, because we know he's in Penacony. We know that he's potentially got a letter writing habit and he's aiming to send Robin one at some point. We know that she's actively been looking for her brother and was heartbroken at the potential thought of him dying, and now is just hoping to find him. Like us finding his bloody book and finding the photo within it of her says kind of everything, and she seemed heartbroken by that. So yeah. This guy, I've heard a lot of people compare it to Scaramouche / Wanderer and his progression in his story. I don't think it's a bad thing to cover. I don't have much issue with it. I can see where the complaints potentially could come from depending on how they handle this. But I think it's a realistic and actually, human thing that someone does. We all reflect on our actions from time to time, and if you don't, then you really probably should. It's the only way you learn and grow. And after what he did, I think some reflection is kind of necessary. I think it's in everyone's best interest. He understands his own actions quite well and considers what he really wanted out of them and how to achieve it. Because the sort of thing he's hoping for, which is a dream where no one suffers, where everyone can live in contentment, accomplishing that in the real world is where it matters. Being in a dream is just an escapism. The whole point of the story was an overview of how we view life and death and and a look into escapism, because that's basically what the dream is. And I'm sure that every single one of us out there has used some form of escapism. Hell, for me, it was video games for a very long time. But reality's always there. You can't just shut it out. You have to live in it. And just like us, it's a good story point to make it so the characters have to as well. And if you truly care about the dream you have for the masses to try and make their lives, their lives better, then you need to find a way to make it so it impacts them in reality, not just in their dreams. You can start off with trying to help healing them spiritually and mentally. You can try. But ultimately, even if they manage to recover in that sense, if reality is still so hard for them, it's not going to do much. You need to try and fix every area, and that's a really hard thing to do. And this is why Robin ended up shot in the neck. Like, she has a bullet mark scar. She got shot in the neck for going onto a war battlefield to support the people who are fighting. To support a war-torn place. Like, those are the hard things you do. Can we say that she succeeded? We don't know the outcome of that battle. We don't know what happened after she was shot in the throat. We know that she had to be taken from that place because she could have died. We don't know how much of an impact she ended up having in the end, but I'm sure that people will remember that action if they saw it in passing. So she's potentially given hope to some people. So that's the thing, and it's very funny to me that their types kind of reflect their views on how things should have been changed. Robin is a physical type because she exists in reality. Everything she has done has to try and make a meaningful step in the real world. Meanwhile, Sunday is imaginary because what he wanted was to correct things through a dream. They have the duality of Penacony and the themes in that story. If you want a good encapsulation of that entire plot and some of its views, you look at these two siblings, because they are literally the opposite ends of it. And I think that's good writing. I think that's really good writing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Sunday again. I'm looking forward to seeing how story ends, even if some people complain that they're reusing the sort of progression of Wanderer/Scaramouche. I don't think that's a bad thing. As long as it's done well, I don't think there's an issue with doing that at all. And I hope that we see Robin and we get to see an actual step forward from him. I am half expecting, considering Walt's comment in his notes that I read yesterday, that Sunday might end up on the Express. And if he does, that's fun. I like that. I want to imagine him seeing... Because we got to see March staring at the Trailblazer do stupid things like climbing on the end of the ship, trying to reach for the origami birds, and there was nothing March could do. Like, that was insane to her. She found it super weird. We got to see Firefly observing the Trailblazers' weird antics. Imagine this guy seeing them, and how weirded out he would be. I want to see that. That's funny. And there was an almost jovialness between him and March 7th in the special program. I actually really want him to join the Express. It'd be super cute. It'd be a good way for him to grow because he'd see more worlds, and it'd introduce another straight man to the dynamic who is in a very different position from Dan Hung. Like, Dan Hung is the straight man on the Express, so is Welt. Himiko as well, but those two are more detached from it because they're the adults. He's kind of like Dan Hung's an in-between. I'd say Sunday would be an in-between as well stage, while the Trailblazer and March are basically the kids that everyone else is babysitting. Just March is a little better than the Trailblazer in that sense. It'd be very cute. I actually really like the idea, and it potentially let us encounter Robin a few more times because obviously she can't stick in Penacony all the time. He even mentions in the information we got on her lab, he even mentions she's going to go on tour again. Because that's her job. So yeah, I think that'd be very fun. I'd actually really like it. If it doesn't happen, fair enough. But it's interesting that he's having such good interactions in the special program and now on Hoyo Lab, in the mention of his like character notes, information about himself, he's interacting with members of the Express and seems to be on very, very good terms with them, despite how things ended off in story. So yeah, I hope